Okay, so today we run a slightly shorter trail. Let's go ahead and get started. So today's run is going to be a bit short. We're going to run most of this loop here. It's funny, whenever I look at the distances I run, what I call short would probably be way too long for others. A little over 6 miles. See, this is called Castle Island. Weather, perfect running weather, but just like I said yesterday, very uncomfortable for walking. It's probably 50 degrees, so it is morning, so there's an extra complication. Not that bad, but just a little. The ground is kind of cold. Overnight temperature dropped to about like 40. So not super, but it's noticeably cold. If you recall our discussion yesterday, you might be, once again, if you didn't, yesterday we were covering how sometimes, yes, the ground below me can be uncomfortable if you're running barefoot. And I explained that, to those people who would be like, well, then wear shoes, stupid. I explained, well, I don't really run for comfort. Not that it's always uncomfortable or anything. Rather, there is a sensory, a world of sensation, an extra dimension of feeling that it's like going from 2D to 3D. It literally is. That's really what addicts me to, because it's addictive. Being barefoot, you feel so much more. Feet are alive. And being alive as we all know, it's not just about feeling good. It also includes feeling bad, feeling more. You've got more dimensions. You feel more connected. And so I explained, yes, there are times when it feels uncomfortable, times when it feels neutral, and times when it feels good. So it's not even that. I would argue that even then, you probably feel better being barefoot just a little more frequently than with wearing shoes. A little more often, but not too much. Still feel discomfort. But it does not discourage me. Heck, not even stepping on glass discourages me. You may ask, well, I won't do it precisely because I'm terrified of glass. Thing is, I 100% agree that the first time you step on glass, it's absolutely terrifying. The thought and the pain. Thing is, your first and second time it happens, you're 100% unaware, and usually the glass just really got you good. It was a big piece, and it went quite bad. Thing is, once you're running and you're aware of everything, that just doesn't happen anymore. It's rare that you'll get really badly struck with any of that. So that's first. Second is that actually, even if you do, the second time it happens, it's not that bad anymore. It was only the first time that was like this initial shock. Second and third time, not that bad. Yeah, it hurts. It's annoying. As I've said in other videos, just get yourself some tweezers. Just don't cheap out on the tweezers. Get some high quality tweezers. Because I learned the hard way that using cheap tweezers will bury the slivers further down. And one time that happened to me, and I did end up having to go to the doctor to have it removed. So there was that. But if you get good tweezers, you can pull most of the time. Now, it's not even, like I said, that. How often does it happen to me? Well, think about the fact that I run over 100 miles a month. And I'll run into glass maybe every 2 or 3 months. And when I do, as I said, it's usually a minor inconvenience. It's so minor, it is so minor that I can keep on running. Like right now, there have been times when I haven't even done my first mile and I already get struck with glass. And I'll just keep running. Now, that will complicate things, that's what I was going to say. Sometimes, if you catch it early, you can literally dig it out with your hand. I've done that before. Either my hand, there was one time I even used a rusty nail, which, yes, I'm perfectly aware rusty nails are the source of tetanus and other diseases.
Lap 1, 9:32, heart rate 125, average pace 9:33.
That was my goal time, so we're doing good. thing about when I would dig it out, yes, I would just look for something kind of hard, and when I was on the ground, rusty nail does. You may be like, yeah, but then tetanus. First of all, tetanus isn't like snake poison. Digging at your injury at that moment isn't going to immediately kill you. You know, I'll dig it out, and then I continue my run. And then when I get back home, I, of course, fully wash out the wound and use antibiotics or antiseptics. And never had a complication. The other thing, of course, is that when you are used to this, running barefoot, your instinct for actually running, I explained a bit yesterday, but I've done it before, which is your instinct for avoiding obstacles improves dramatically. Like, I'm not even thinking, but my eyes are scanning. So it's a subconscious thing for me now. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not looking consciously for glass. I'm not thinking. I'm talking to the video here and I'm looking around. But my subconscious registers obstacles in glass so that I avoid them even more. What I'm saying is that with practice, you become so much more agile. And remember, it's the very pain that you felt the first time and the first few times you got stuck in your glass. Hell yeah, it hurt. Well, guess what? That's exactly what's going to teach you. I mean, come on, this is psychology 101. A painful stimulus is far more likely to teach you than a neutral stimulus. So use that pain when you're going on running barefoot. That fear is a good thing. I mean, as long as it doesn't paralyze you. Let that fear remind you to be careful. And you will be. That's my whole point. I too was afraid of. That was my first fear. On my first day running barefoot, I thought I was going to come back with bloody stumps. Nope. Ran for over a month. When I started, I had other problems, including my calves were just on fire that day because I'd used muscles that I'd never used before. So I become more careful, and this is important. Not just there, by the way. There's all kinds of little things where I can notice that I'm so much more careful. For example, something that I found is kind of interesting is because of my increased sensitivity or my increased input, because I also don't ever step on poop anymore. Yeah, I don't step on poop. I haven't stepped on a poop in at least 10 years since I started basically. Oh, no, I think about 5 years I did step once on goose poop. You know how there's these Canada geese in the parks? I wasn't even paying attention though. That's part of it. But as long as I'm looking at the ground, once again, that's instinct now. I don't even think about it. is what I'm saying. I could be walking, talking with a friend, as long as my eyes are on the road, at least incidentally, even if I'm looking to the side, as long as somewhere in my vision I see the road, my instinct avoids those obstacles better than most people. But it's instinctive now. I like that. Never really traveled too much outside of my own hometown, and traveling to the other side of the country has been quite an education. First of all, it's an exceptional experience, and one that I feel privileged to have had. With that in mind, I will say that this morning was a bit of a hard lesson, and really I was kind of stupid because this was something I should have known since before. It happened to me another time too. I'm not sure. And that is that when you go to a new big city, you really pay attention to the traffics and directions, especially in the downtown areas. If you don't, certainly end up getting lost and going around in circles multiple times. Because there's plenty of one-way streets. Send you far out of your destination, and you have to make circles and circles and circles. Turning around, then you miss your destination once, and you miss it twice. And then it's really starts to get on your nerves. So, to avoid that, like I said, pay attention. That happened to me here, even more. Happened to me when I arrived in Boston. First of all, because Boston, even more than New York, has like all these tunnels. It's like a mole city. That already makes GPS navigation harder.
Heart rate 123. Average pace
I'm
925.
going slow. Yes, this would not be a problem back in LA because I know all the areas. But in a new place where you're dealing with, avoiding other cars. So it would confuse me and I'd miss an exit. Sometimes there's an exit and then there's another exit like 100 feet away. You don't know which one to take. The best solution, of course, is to just turn off your radio and pay complete attention to the road, which is what I just ended up doing. Yeah, it's no fun. It's no fun not listening to your music, but I guess if I'm too dumb to pay attention to the map. Actually, I shouldn't say too dumb because there are people who really think that I'm stupid. And it's like, no, your average human will also get confused in these kinds of things. That's what I'm telling you. You come to a new city, pay attention to the GPS. Don't get distracted. Don't talk to other people. Focus on what you're doing, or you'll get lost. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is a bit annoying. And like I said, I lost 10-15 minutes here. Why does that complicate my life? Well, that means I'm gonna get out of the hotel later. In other words, other things that you had to do suddenly get pushed out of whack. 15 minutes, well, doesn't seem like much, but sometimes the very activities we plan also will take up more time than we expected. And so, if this run, I calculated it was going to take an hour and then a half an hour for the cool down. Well, this run may actually run longer. It may run for an hour and 20 minutes. And the cool down may run for may still run to 30 minutes, but see what I'm saying? More time. Little by little, you start running out of time. And then when it's night, guess what? You get less sleep. Less sleep means you can't run very well the next morning. And these things start piling up on each other. So it is generally a good idea to pay attention so you won't lose those minutes unnecessarily. Besides, when you're traveling, the one thing you don't want to do is spend more time traveling. You want to minimize your travel time, at least to whatever practical level you can get it to. So, pay attention. The other thing that it also makes me a little curious is, how did people get around? Especially people who are new. You arrive in Boston and you want to get somewhere. 25 years ago, before GPS really took hold, how did people get around? Back then was when you would stop somewhere and ask somebody for directions. And I'm like, oh my God, that would have been absolute murder. Why? Well, because remember I told you, I don't even know all the routes I took to get here. I must have easily gone through about 30 or 40 different streets. Can you imagine somebody giving you directions like that? Like, take a right turn at here, and then under the tunnel, take exit 19. First of all, people don't even know the numbers. They just say take the second exit. And how do you say it? Under the tunnel, it forks off. And the worst part is, the person who's giving you directions knows this place, especially if they're being helpful and stuff. They know the place. But that actually makes it worse because they talk to you almost as if you know the place. And that means they're gonna just tell you, make a left, make a right, make a left very quickly. Because, in their brain, they haven't really thought about it too much. And so they're talking to you like you're a local too. There you are trying to digest the information. I would imagine the best way to do something like that is pull out a notepad and take notes. Even that would be tough. Of course, there were Thomas guides, probably the best way to do it. But I'm just saying here, with all the tunnels and turns and everything, because you got to go all these one ways and loops and stuff like that. So, yeah, I imagined it was quite an ordeal. Of course, people did it and they managed it and they thrived. So, I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but it's quite a challenge. Some people may complain, oh, well, that's why people today are really stupid, because maps have made us stupid. Well, no, actually not. There's a really good research article that shows that mapping has actually made us more intelligent. Our ability to navigate was a skill that we never evolved to have, and yet our use of maps has made us so much better at navigating, even than where we were 100 years ago. 100 years ago, the only people who mapped were, sailors. Or people, traveling cross country. But other than that, your average citizen didn't know squat. Other than, a couple miles around their town. Plus, most people don't have to struggle with the whole, your driver never asked for directions. That joke has gone away, by the way, the whole men never ask for directions. Well, now they don't have to. But, no, it's actually, I believe that all the GPSs we have are a net plus. They've increased our abilities in many ways, and there's research that shows this. Are some people becoming lazier when they use it? Yes, there are some. There's always a few people who misuse technology. There's a saying my brother used to say about Microsoft Word that is apropos here. And that is that with spell check makes good spellers better and bad spellers worse. And the whole point was that, depending on the type of person and how they use it, it can help them. Because, like me, I'll use spell check and learn a new word. Now that becomes a new word, and I know how it's properly spelled. Whereas somebody who just wants to get by, well, they don't really do that. As a matter of fact, they often don't care. And they may find a homonym that is actually the wrong word to use, but they're going to use it. And so they're too lazy to actually try to learn. They don't even want to learn. That's too much energy for them. Same thing here with mapping. Some people will use it, absorb, turn the map, evolve a map in their heads. This is what I did when I would travel to Mexico City. Mexico City is way crazy too. Streets and everything, are you kidding? But I would sit down for a few minutes, look at the map, and start to upload it to my brain. Turn it into abstract symbols in my brain. Nothing special. I mean, we all do it to a certain extent. That's what I'm saying. And when I did that, I could navigate. This was before the time of GPS. I could navigate with my head. Pretty good. You don't need to. The thing is, when you're doing that, it's not like you're trying to absorb all the data on the map. No, that's not going to happen. You just absorb a few cardinal points, which is something I do all the time. Like right here on my run. At every given moment right now, I more or less know where my start and end point is, so that I know if something happens to the phone, I have a general idea in which direction to head. This is a skill I learned while hiking, because in hiking, you'd better know to do that, because you cannot count on your phone sometimes. I mean, phones have gotten better and everything, but you still never know. It's still useful. Wherever I start, I will keep track of my start and my destination. Doesn't need to be like to the single degree, just in the general vicinity, just in the general quadrants, that's all. At least then, if you get lost, you're not gonna end up on the news. You'll just be a few hours lost. It'll suck, but you'll still get out. Same thing here. So, anyway, my whole point is pay attention to your GPS, or you're gonna spend more time driving around in circles in the big cities. And you don't want that. This was actually a little unplanned detour that I took. The trail was actually supposed to go. There's a little bumblebee that settled on it. Can't see it though. It's on the other side. So late now. Okay, we are done. Ooh. This was only supposed to be 6.5 miles. And instead, I have done 7.71 miles. I was almost going to keep going till it says 777, but no. Okay, let's go ahead and go with our cool down. So the run itself, as you can tell, I think this one was a little more successful, but then it's because I've been running nonstop day after day, and it's kind of slowing me down. Either way, I did my mileage. As a matter of fact, I did one more mile. I only planned on doing 6.5 miles, and I did a little over 7.5 miles. So that's good. My heart rate, I don't think I exceeded, although maybe. At the moment, as you can tell, I haven't checked, so I'll put the numbers there. Hopefully I didn't go too hard. But this discovery of new places and running in new places, you know, it fills me with motivation, and it makes me feel good that I run. I don't like running, and I never will. I'm sorry. And when I say that, runners who love running hate me. They get mad when I say that. Remember I told you last time that I've had some literally cuss me out because they're sure that I'm doing something wrong. They can't realize that we don't all think and operate in the same way. And that is an important thing that these people often miss. We don't all think and operate the same way. I don't like running. Doesn't mean that I don't run. As a matter of fact, that's been my whole shtick with all this stuff that I do, which is that I don't like it and I do it. I get benefits out of it. I do over 1,000 miles a year. Some years I've done over 2,000 miles. Why? Because even though I don't like it, I can learn to do things and get something out of them. I can enjoy it a little bit. So I'm not saying it's 100% suffering. No, as a matter of fact, like that great writer wrote, you know, pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. I agree with that. It hurts, but I don't necessarily suffer. Sometimes I do, but not always. And that's important. So I speak to those who do not have that ability, for whom running hurts. You too can run. You too can get something out of this. If it hurts and you think that I should quit because those jerks who tell you it should always feel good, no, it hurts me. And I've known others who also say the same thing as me. So I'm not the only one. I've met a small minority of runners who say the same thing, where it hurts more and they don't like it, but they do it. And they get so much out of it. Look at this. Look at the beauty. This is part of it. It blows me away sometimes when I think about how far I run. It really does. Sometimes I get emotional that my fat ass can get out here and can do all these miles. Yeah, that's part of what motivates me. So on those mornings, like you've seen me many times say, I don't want to do this. I just don't think, and I just put one foot in front of the other. And I don't regret it. And neither will you. So, as I always say, don't forget to challenge yourself.